Hey YouTube, Puff and Snuff here, Ian. Checking in as always from beautiful Northeast Ohio. We're going to do a Snuff review this evening. Going to talk about the latest offering from the open source project. But before launching into the review, a little bit of news on that front. Good news. OSP, open source project, back up and running. Full speed ahead. I know Chris has some projects in the works over there. Really excited, always excited when OSP cranks up the mills. I think if you've experienced any of those snuffs, you know that the snuff community, the world of snuff takers, the new world order of snuff takers, are better off when OSP is in the marketplace. It does seem that Chris is looking to change the business model over there, and I'm not going to launch into that whole conversation. The details, they might be on Snuff House, I don't know. I know that it has been discussed within the Nasal Snuff Takers group over on Facebook. Real basic overview is it appears that we're going to kind of move away from the I'm going to make a thing, stick it in a tin, you're going to send me money, I will send you that tin model, and try to take more of a crowd-funded GoFundMe, Kickstarter kind of approach. There are pros and cons with everything. I think there are a few huge pros with this model. I think that if done right, and disclaimer, if done right, it can breed increased community involvement. I think people will look at snuff a little differently. I think there will be more participation, more ideas bouncing around, and if nothing else, in most cases, it drives the ultimate purchase price for those of us buying the snuff down. So, that out of the way, let's talk about the snuff. We're talking about Uglybean Toast. Little background on Uglybean. I know that this is Chris's first attempt to get away from those really complex, really deep snuffs. And if you've had batches 1 through 4, or if you've seen any of the reviews on them, you understand that these are not simple snuffs. These are not take a pinch, go about your day. The batches 1 through 4 are very complex. There are a lot of scents in there, and the way they combine or the way they appear on their own, it is layer after layer after layer of scent. And it's the kind of thing that you almost need to sit down in a quiet place and spend some time with it and get to know it. The goal with Uglybean was to go a different route and to still provide a quality product, a high level of quality in the leaf and in the way it's been treated, but to make it straightforward, make it more approachable, make it something that you can use all day, that you can take and enjoy, but not need to really focus and dedicate so much thought to really understand what you're getting. That was the goal. The snuff is a nice light brown. It's Uglybean toast, so it should be no surprise that this is a toast, and you would expect that kind of coloration out of a toast. If I get a little on the finger, you can see it does stick, it does dust the fingertip, but it does not pill, and it wipes clean away. So I don't know if you can really see the grind too well. It's probably not going to focus there, but it's what you'd expect out of a toast. There's really no surprise just looking at the product itself. It's that light brown color. It's on the dry side of medium dry. It's on the fine side of medium fine. It's a toast, right? No surprises. So, as far as the tin aroma, it's tobacco and it's Tonkin. And I don't have Chris's description in front of me, but I know it's a very simple, straightforward preparation. I think he used two kinds of tobacco, and I think it's a Virginia primarily, but I'm not certain. I know it smells like Virginia. It has that Virginia sweetness, but it's only 2 strains of tobacco in there, and the only flavoring is Tonkin bean or Tonka bean if you prefer. So there's not a lot to work with, but that's it's kind of untrue, because if you're going to pick one ingredient because you're keeping things simple, okay, Tonka is not the simplest of ingredients to pick. In and of itself, its aroma is a complex thing. If you don't know Tonkin, it's kind of hard to describe. It's one of those things, well, what does Tonkin smell like? Well, it smells like Tonkin. If you were to say, it reminds me a lot of vanilla, you wouldn't be wrong. That's a really good starting point. But it's more than just a vanilla substitute. And there's something nutty the way almonds kind of smell. There's something sweet in a green sort of way, almost like a clover. There's something deer tonguey if you've had deer tongue with maybe with a pipe blend, and then something a spiciness like a cinnamon. So when you get kind of that almondy, vanilla-y, cinnamony thing, it has a very confectionery kind of aroma, but that's hard to really just describe. So get a hold of a Tonkin bean, or get a hold of some Uglybean toast, because that will tell you exactly, if you don't know Tonkin, the best way is to learn by trying, I guess. So, and in the tin, that's exactly what you smell. You smell, you do smell some of that toasted tobacco does come through. It's very nice. You get that vanilla, nutty, cinnamony, clovery, everything that makes Tonkin Tonkin. So, and that's a real, guys, I know that's such a lousy description, but I mean, how do you describe something that smells like itself, but not really anything else? I don't know. So we'll take a pinch here. For a toast, I find this really easy to take. And I don't know why. But I don't have a lot of problem getting it to sit where it needs to sit. And no surprise in the nose. It is really good. I don't want to make the mistake of saying, well, it's simple and it smells like tobacco and this one other thing, and that somehow makes it bad, that it's an artisan snuff that is simple. That's not to say it's bad. It's really, really good. And the grind is such that it coats the inside of the nostril really well. I don't get the sense that this is particularly high in nicotine, but you feel it because of the way it's allowed to completely coat the nostril. And that Tonkin is the dominant scent. You get that right off the bat, and you get that right out front for the first 30 seconds or so. As it fades, you get a really, really nice toasted tobacco. It is slightly bready. It is very sweet, and not in a candied, flavored, sweetened sort of way. I mean sweet the way good, well-aged, well-handled tobacco has a natural sweetness to it, and that's what you get out of this. I know from personal experience that Tonkin aroma will come and go in and out for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and that base toast aroma can stick around for 15, 20 minutes before it really kind of fully leaves the nose. Longer if you're moving between different airflows. So really, really well done. There's not a lot to talk about with this. This isn't well, at first you smell this, then that, then this. This has done, I think, exactly what Chris had hoped that it would do. It is a high-quality snuff using high-quality tobacco, using the perfect amount of aromatic in there with the Tonkin. It's not, you can have too much of a good thing, and it can become overbearing. It can kind of blot out everything behind it, and it can almost be cloying. This doesn't happen here. He uses plenty of it that you know it's there, but not so much that it gets kind of is too much of a good thing. Really well done, Chris. I think this is very much an artisan approach to simple and approachable. And I think approachable is a good word for this. I think open source 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look, I think if you're new to snuff, I think it could be a little intimidating. You know, it might be hard to know what the hell you're smelling. I don't think this is going to intimidate anybody. I think that it's not super difficult to take. It's a little dry. It's a little fine, so you want to be careful. But it's not, this isn't trying to figure out how to take White Elephant for the first time. Really, really good. On the artisan snuff scale of 1 to 10, this is a 9 for me. It is probably my second favorite of the OSP snuffs, and really, really well done. If I would get a hold of Chris, I don't know what the availability on this is. I don't know if he sold through. I don't know if he still has more in stock, but it's not expensive. That's the other thing. With this, the cost on this struck me as being considerably lower than what you would typically expect out of an artisan snuff. So, and I guess I know I've made this disclaimer in my other videos before. I know Chris. Chris is a friend. Chris and I talk, sometimes frequently, sometimes not so frequently. But I pay for all of the OSP snuffs. I pay the same amount anyone else does. And if it was not good, I would review it and say it's not good. Part of me wants to have Chris make a really lousy snuff, so I can come on here and prove that I'm not a shill. Anyway, I think we're probably kind of going off the rails here, and we're 12 minutes in, and that is certainly long enough for me. So, open source project snuff, Uglybean toast. Get some; it's delicious. All right, guys. Till next time. We'll see you later. Take it easy.